Last night, Dr. Drew on Fox News, speaking with Brian Kalimdi, made a statement that I believe everyone should be paying attention to. Dr. Drew was quoted as saying, "I'm going to give you a prediction. This summer in Los Angeles, there will be a major infectious disease outbreak." And then on Wednesday, with everyone essentially distracted over certain states banning abortion, and we have Maine putting up two pieces of legislation to essentially make them a sanctuary state. Why is this relevant? Well, Maine has one of the highest rates of asylum seekers from many African countries, and one in particular actually is the Democratic Republic of the Congo. What does that mean? Well, that means there's a lot of asylum seekers from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And so, what does that mean? How is that going to affect anything? Well, that's where Ebola is coming from. And if Maine is a sanctuary state and their family members want to come in, or from what we know of Ebola, it can lay dormant for up to at least a year that we know of. And they are allowing them to come in seemingly unchecked because they're not wanting them to be harassed, is how they're putting it. We don't want they're human beings, is what they said. But they're breaking the law. I mean, I'm not going to speak on immigration right now, but I'm just speaking about how this is extremely dangerous and the things that people are not looking at that could definitely contribute to a pandemic. What's even more frightening is that there are Africans arriving all over North America daily. There is no region of North America that is safe from the spread of Ebola. Airports across the country offer direct and indirect flights into our continent on a daily basis. That's actually how the man in 2014 came here. Airports such as DFW, the Dallas-Fort Worth, LAX, O'Hare in Chicago, Miami, Memphis International, JFK in New York, and Sky Harbor in Phoenix bring international passengers directly and indirectly from the African region. Essentially, the people in Maine do not want this. And why am I bringing this up during such a thing? Well, I am very much for states' rights. And states' rights is for things like this, to vote on sanctuary status or, abortion, whatever the case may be. But here's the biggest problem. People aren't voting. People have gotten so caught up with the national elections, they essentially feel that the local and state level elections aren't even important. I've looked up the statistics, and in all the big cities in the United States, about 22% was the highest for local elections. That's crazy. In Dallas, it was 6%. 6% of the eligible voters voted in their local elections. That is 100% where we can begin to start fixing these things. Earlier this week, Kaiser Health News put out an article called "Medieval Diseases Flare as Unsanitary Living Conditions Proliferate." And this was out of California, and they're speaking about these infestations of the typhus as well as other diseases that also mimic Ebola. But even if we look at it as just typhus or whatever other one, these are highly contagious and very deadly, all of them, if not very life-altering. And so what's going on is, I guess most people aren't really understanding why this is so relevant and how these things are going to end up spreading. Well, these can spread very easily through the air, through blood, through feces, through any kind of bodily fluid. Even after death, you are still contagious. During Dr. Drew's interview, he went more into depth about why he made this quote-unquote prediction and what situations are surrounding not only the LA area, but many areas, and why this would spread so fast and become a pandemic. Let's take a look at that. We have tens of thousands of people in tense, horrible conditions, sanitation. Rats have taken over the city. We're the only county without a rodent control program. We have multiple rodent-borne, flea-borne illnesses, plague, typhus. We're going to have a louse-borne illness. If measles break out in this population, we will have tuberculosis exploding. Literally, our politicians are like Nero. It's worse than Nero. And with the tremendous amount of needles and trash and feces all over these cities, it's almost like third world countries. That's why people I don't believe, are actually understanding how serious this really is. Maybe a few years ago, it would have been okay to shrug off. Be like, no, that would not come to America, and if it did, we would take care of it. Well, unfortunately, it's much different now. They have allowed certain cities, their homeless populations, to get out of control. They even hired a feces, I think they're calling them a poop specialist, to clean up the city, paying him $186,000 a year. Well, each one are getting paid that much. Once infected, the disease progresses very quickly. The symptoms mimic conditions just like the flu, measles, or even some people have thought it was just their allergies. After 10 days of an infection process, as you can see here, untreated, the chances of recovery are incredibly slim. Dr. Drew's warning specifically mentioned a disease called typhus. It is also referred to as rickets. The early stages of both diseases are almost indistinguishable. And then yesterday we had a very great opinion piece come out in the New York Times that is, America's cities are unlivable. Blame wealthy liberals. And of course, this is not to blame anyone. It's just the heading. But what he is saying is they want progressive values and progressive issues being taken care of, but they're not actually following through. And it's ending up costing the people. He also goes on to say that certain conservative or Republican leaders are doing the same thing, which I absolutely agree with. We have so many people concerned about what's going on in other states because it's this issue or that issue, when they're not looking at the issues in their own backyard. And that's where you need to start. That is the only way things are ever going to change. There is no way, no how, anyone in DC with an R or a D by their name can fix things at this point. Not one person can fix it no matter what. And that's why it is so important for us to focus on our local and state elections. It really is as easy as that. I'll leave these links down in the pinned comments below so you can take a look at them. Thanks, guys. I would like to first off say thank you so much to all of my new subs. Welcome. I've been at 14,000 subs for over a year, so pushing me over 15,000 just was absolutely amazing. I just feel that a lot of the information I put out isn't being seen by enough people, and to finally see like a jump in my numbers is amazing to see. So thank you very much, and continue sharing. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and you'll all have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.